How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out some TikTok compilation videos that I used to react to, and I think it's been like a year since I've done these, actually. This one here is First Time You Realized America Really Messed You Up, Part 4. So I've done, like I said, I've done the first 3 parts, and I think there's like 6 parts total. And the original channel that put it together is called TikTok Reacts. Links down below so you can check it out. Thanks for watching with me, guys. We're going to watch it together. See what it's all about. These are great.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Okay, so unfortunately, I have more than one of these situations because America. But one that I know specifically that just happened to me recently, I was walking to my car. It was late at night. I was leaving the mall, and this guy was walking behind me, and I was just like, dun 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 dun. What does he want from me? And I like got in my car, and when he walked past, I locked the doors, and I was just like, wait a minute,
Why?
you're not in
Why'd you
North
do
Carolina anymore. And it's so weird because I've been so comfortable here. Like, I've went inside of the store and left my car running because it's super hot in Abu Dhabi, and I'm like, let's leave the air going. But yeah, America has really made me scared to strangers, which I mean, it
But
probably should because the world is crazy. But yeah, not in the UAE. It's just not that way.
but the
When
thing
I was
is like, why would you? It's like I don't know where she came from though. What city here in the United States? Because some of them are pretty sketchy. But to just run and get scared, and just because somebody's like walking, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. But again, maybe she was in a really rough neighborhood, really rough city. Apologies for these stupid flies, man. It's hot in here. Open up these windows. They come in here. And just like hang out in my bedroom, I guess. But anyways, we're gonna continue the video. When I was studying abroad in Japan, I got super sick one month. Oh, this one's gonna be about the healthcare being super cheap over there, I bet.
Studying abroad in Japan, I got super sick one month, and my host family kept telling me to go to the doctor, and I kept refusing. And when
Yeah,
they asked
right.
why, I said because I was scared they're going to send me to the hospital and leave me with this huge bill.
Yeah.
And then they quickly had to explain to me that that's not how it works, and if I actually needed to go to the hospital, I would not leave with a $6,000 bill just for IV fluids and ibuprofen.
So, as an
I mean, 6,000 just for IV fluids and ibuprofen. That's a stretch. It wouldn't even be that much here. It'd be at least a grand, $1,200 though, which is insane. But yeah. Anyways,
American living in New Zealand for the
New
last
Zealand.
2 years, I have definitely had a moment of clarity where I realized how the American healthcare system is.
Okay.
So
cool,
I was
yeah.
watching this cooking show with my boyfriend, and the girl who wanted
Was
to
it
win,
Kay's cooking?
she wanted to win because she had all these medical bills she needed to pay because she was in a hit and run. So she was hit, obviously, and like her legs got super up. But I was like, wait, why is she paying like $80,000 in medical bills because she got hit? That
Yeah.
makes no sense. So, safe to say, I don't think I'll be moving back to the States anytime soon, especially since I broke my wrist here and it was completely free. Like, how does that work? America, get your shit
Right.
together.
Yeah, I agree. And also, New Zealand's cool because that's where the hobbits are.
So, a few weeks after I moved to South Korea, I got pretty
Although the real life hobbit was probably based on what they think was Homo floresiensis, which was in Indonesia. That's where they found that. Lord of the Rings story was based on old fables and myths, right? He didn't just make up these characters and dwarfs and all this kind of stuff. They're just from old time myths. And then afterwards, archaeologists found Homo, or what they named it Homo floresiensis or something, on some island in Indonesia, and they dubbed it as like the real life Hobbit, from like possibly where those old myths from hobbits and stuff came from. So, but anyways, off topic. Just thought I'd throw it in there. Random bits of information. Let's see what this person has to say about it.
sick. I got a pretty gnarly sinus infection, so my boss insisted on taking me to the doctor, even though I was like, no, no, it's fine. I don't need to
Right.
go. I'll get better. And she took me to the doctor, and I have health insurance here in Korea. I have the national health insurance plan. And at the end of my appointment, my boss said to me, oh, it's 5,000. So I heard her say 5,000. 5,000 won is about $5 US. But in my head, there was no way it could have only been 5,000. So I pulled a 50,000 won note out of my wallet and I handed it to her. She tried to give it to the receptionist and he was like, does she have anything smaller? Like, this is a big bill. And she was like, do you have anything smaller? And I was like, but it's 50. She was like, no, it's $5,000. And I was like, how can a doctor's appointment only be $5?
When my grandfather was...
Why would it not only be that, right? All right, when my grandfather was dying, we went to Scotland to see him one last time. Unfortunate about your grandfather. Sorry to hear about that.
dying, we went to Scotland to go and see, him for one last time. And at one point, my grandfather had a prescription that needed picking up. So I pop out of the car, run into the pharmacy, and I've got my purse on me. I don't have very much money with me. I just didn't. And I went in and I'm just like, okay, I'm here to pick up for my grandfather. This is his name. And I've got my passport out, ready to hand it to them, like to prove that I'm who I say I am. And they're like, oh yeah. How's John doing? Here you go. Here's his stuff. Hey, let him know.
Not so
that
good.
If he ever needs help with this, you can just call us. We'll send it on down to him. I said, thank you. And then I stood there and they're like, why are you still here? I was like, but I need to pay. And they're like, no, you don't. He's old. Everything's free. I never felt more uncomfortable leaving a building than I did in that day. It was awful.
I'm a U.S.
Yeah, it would be an awkward situation, like not knowing the customs and stuff anyways, anywhere. I hate even just going in like a restaurant, even around here in my own country, and just not knowing what's on the other side of the door or how they do it there. Some restaurants, you go up and pay the thing. Some of them you pay there, you give them your card or your money, and then they take the booklet away and then bring it back. It's like all different. You never know. I hate not knowing. All right, Costa Rica. We have to be careful using the term Americans since the Americas are continents. Yes.
Citizen currently living in Costa Rica. We have to be careful about the use of the word American since the Americas are continents. Anyway, I have so many examples of how the U.S. up, specifically Florida. We got to Costa Rica.
Sorry, but you've seen the news. Florida man's out there. He'll fuck up anybody. We got to Costa Rica the second week in November, obviously.
The second week in November. Obviously still deep in the throes in the U.S. with COVID. And coming from Florida where there's so many anti-maskers and COVID deniers, it was surreal to go to these establishments here where everyone's following the Ministry of Health's rules. There's hand washing stations outside of every establishment. There are people taking your temperature to go into grocery stores and certain restaurants. People are giving you distance. Everyone is compliant with masks. And I found myself so defensively postured, ready to argue because I had gotten into so many arguments in Florida with anti-maskers and COVID deniers. It's amazing when people don't politicize a virus.
So I don't currently live.
I doubt everybody was all about the rules, and I don't know how it is in Costa Rica, but some countries and stuff like that, you kind of like almost have to follow the rules more so, even if you disagree with them, because maybe the punishment's a little bit more harsh or something. I don't know. But there's definitely going to be people there in Costa Rica also that weren't about the mask. They're just not out there telling you about it. You were in the touristy locations and, no, you live there maybe. I don't know. Did she live there? I don't know what she said. But anyways, regardless.
Abroad, but I grew up abroad and I have so many. The first one is Common Core math. This one didn't mess me up as much when I was living abroad as much as it did when I moved back. Because believe it or not, when I was growing up, I was taught to understand the inner workings of the math. Like, I understood the math. I understood what was happening in the equations. I knew what they meant. But when I came back, the people that were getting A's on tests, like doing the best in math, had no understanding of what was actually happening in the math. I remember having like right on right answers, and I would be getting marked down because I wasn't using the Common Core math. And then when I tried to use the Common Core math, I didn't know how to do it because it was just steps, and I didn't understand what was going on in the math, and I wouldn't do well. Like, oh my god.
So I live in Paris.
So I don't know what the exact definition, like what is Common Core math or whatever. I know that I was taught math when I was in school. I don't know if what I was taught was Common Core math or what you would call it or whatever, but I mean, I guess, it is weird that different places do math differently and how, but if the end result is the same thing, then I guess that's all that really matters. But I do know that they do math differently in other countries, and it's kind of strange. I don't know how they do it there. Like, I'm not familiar with the actual steps and all that stuff.
And 2 months ago, I got hit by a taxi relatively hard.
Jeez.
I fell down in the street. All these people came. They picked me up. They brought me over to a bench. Someone from a restaurant brought me a glass of water. Another woman gave me a handful of coins. And I was like, I don't need your money.
Handful
it's
of
okay. And she
coins.
was like, sweetheart, this is your money. It fell out of your pockets when you got hit by the taxi.
Jeez.
And I was like, Sonic the Hedgehog vibes. Great. The man who hits me goes to call the ambulance. And I said, stop. Do not call the ambulance. That will cost me $3,000 to $5,000 because that's what an ambulance costs in America.
Yeah.
And he was like, what are you talking about? An ambulance is €7.
First of all, what are you talking about, lady? We ain't in America here. We're in, I don't know what country because I missed it, but maybe she didn't say. I don't know. But regardless, we ain't there. We're here. Did she say €7? That's nut. That's cheap.
I was like, oh my God. Remind me to twist my ankle on the way home from the club. And they'll give me an IV so I won't be hungover the next day. Catch me at the hospital. This is lit.
Okay, well, that was a stupid joke, whatever. You should have said whatever, all that crap at the end after I unpaused it. Just made yourself look dumb, trashy. Honestly. Anyways, let's continue.
Doing this, but kind of the opposite. I'm an American who was born abroad and then moved to America. I moved when I was 8, and I went from a really nice school to an American public school. And on the very first day, I came in with a snowsuit in one hand and a pair of slippers in my other hand. I was like, where do I put this down? They looked at me like, no, you don't need a snowsuit for class. What? We lived in Sweden, so if you were going to go to recess, there was a fair chance that you might need a snowsuit sometime. So I was embarrassed, my mom took it back, and then I heard a ding 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 above the speakers. When I tell you I was not prepared for 20 to 30 8-year-olds to stand up in unison, place their hands over their heart, and start chanting together, I don't think I can explain how weird that was. And then, nobody taught me the Pledge of Allegiance. From then on out, they just assumed I knew it. And that's just American arrogance for you.
Just move your mouth and mumble along if you don't know it, I guess. Yeah. Pledge of Allegiance. The whole thing, guys.
So I live in Stockholm, Sweden, but I'm from Nashville, and I used to have the best job ever in Nashville, but I was always paranoid about getting fired for no reason, because that happened to a lot of people at my company. People get fired and no one would say why. Like, they would just drop in the group chat and be like, this person's not with us anymore. We'd be like, okay. So when I was applying for jobs in
Was it for no reason, though? I mean, is all your friends slackers? Are they not doing their job? Perhaps.
Sweden, I would like tell the employer, I'd be like, oh, job security is really important to me because I don't want to just like show up one day and find out that I'm fired.
Standard
they were like,
there.
what are you talking about? Like, that's illegal. I was like, huh? And long story short, it's like completely impossible to fire someone like in Sweden. The company has to prove that you either killed somebody or that like employing you will make them bankrupt. It's like so much work to try and fire somebody. But you can quit whenever you want, depending on your contract. But
Good
yeah,
job.
all my employers were like shocked to hear that I could get fired tomorrow and they didn't have to tell me why. Thanks, Sweden.
Well, if you do your job right and you're a good employee, you probably don't have to really worry about that now, do you, lady? Not accusing her of being, and if you're watching, hey, maybe you were the best worker there. You're not lazy at all. Not accusing you of being lazy at all. But if you're always worried about your job and worried that you're going to show up and they're going to fire you, and maybe subconsciously, deep down, maybe you're not doing your best the best of your ability, right? I don't know.
Chose to do this even though I'm a Canadian and we have free healthcare, but the reason I'm doing it is because everyone talks about healthcare with this stitch, and guess what? I'm in Greece. I'm in Europe. Okay, so 2015, I'm in Europe. I've got bilateral.
Close enough. So the thing with Canadians are like, they're similar to us, right? There's a lot of things that they share in common with us, but a lot of things are different that they share more in common with Europe. So like Canada, I think sits in between, like a lot of the stuff that they do there is in between like the way Europe does it and the way that we do it here in the United States, I believe. But as far as like the way people act and stuff and this and that, I think it's maybe it's probably also a mix. Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty mixed country, between like a mix between European style stuff and United States kind of stuff. I don't know. I've never been to Canada though, but
Pneumonia, both lungs full. 2 months in, I'm seeing no signs it's getting better. I can't breathe. I can't even walk 10 steps. I'm out of breath.
That's
I'm like, can't do any. Finally, it's life or death. I mean, I gotta go to the hospital. I gotta bite the bullet. Whatever they're gonna charge me in Greece, I gotta pay it. So I show up at the hospital. They put me on this ventilator thing. They got my airways opened up. They did x-rays. I still got the x-rays.
But
they did blood work. They did everything. They told me what I had. They gave me 3 different types of meds. And when I go to leave, you know how much they charge me? €5. It's about $6 American. What?
I thought he just said he was from Canada, though. Like, I thought Canada has universal health care as well, so I don't understand. And he even said he had free health care, right? He's like, I'm not supposed to do this because I'm from Canada, but, like, I have free health care, and everybody talks about health care, and I'm in Greece right now, right? I don't know. Maybe I missed something. If I did, let me know down below, because I certainly miss things a lot.
So
Last
about
one,
a
I
year
think.
ago, I ended up going to the emergency room here in the US because I had really bad asthma and I felt like I couldn't breathe.
That sucks.
And all they told me to do at the emergency room was to take some allergy pills. Some that I already had at home, and then they just sent me home.
Yeah.
And it ended up being $2,000, including insurance.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, and how much? I was getting ready, like that's what I was thinking in my head, like, and how much was the price? Because they'll, and I've been to the doctor before. That's why, like, most of the time I don't go, because it's like it's pretty stupid, you know. Most of the time, if I have something wrong, I don't like to take medicine normally. Anyways, I like to use that as like a last resort, because medicine's not good for your liver and stuff. It's not good for your body, whatever, right? But, if it's been a couple, 2, 3 days, then I'll resort to taking some medicine. And then if it gets to the point where I'm like, I need to go to the doctor, I will. But then you get to the doctor, the hospital, rather, right? And then they just tell you, you sit there forever. They don't really do much. They come in, talk to you. They look at you, take like your temperature, do some basic stuff to make it look like they're doing something, take your blood pressure, whatever, right? They'll leave. You sit there for like another hour, another 2 hours, it seems. I don't even know. And then they just like, they come back. Or like the nurse comes back and then basically like, okay, well, we're just gonna recommend you to like do this, do that, do that. And it's the same things that you've already done and tried before. You went there, oh, well, take Tylenol, or oh, take some aspirin, get plenty of rest, and then they send you on your way. They've done nothing. They've really done nothing. Like, you just sat in a room for a couple hours. They came and talked to you for a little bit, and they basically told you to do the same thing that you already tried to do before you went there. And then, yeah, they'll turn around and they charge you a bunch of money. Like, the heck is that about? Yeah.
Back up to 2 years ago, I was in China, and I had to go to the emergency room for the exact same thing. And I was like, thank God I got the study abroad health insurance, because I'm going to the emergency room right now, and I'm really afraid how much it's going to be. Okay. Ended up going to the emergency room, and in the end, I paid $4 without the insurance.
$4.
Didn't even need it.
Nice.
It was $4.
Why is she saying 4 weird? Was she saying 4 weird? $4. All right, guys, that was a fun video. That was part 4. They have part 5 and part 6, so we're going to be doing those soon. Thanks for watching with me. Hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you know, and it only takes a couple seconds of your time, and that's it. You guys have a super fun, awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, bye.